My Lord. And by the way, all over the country now they're reporting if you videotape police or ask them questions, you're taken to jail, you're beaten, and you're charged, and they try to put you in prison for videotaping them, even though there's no law. I mean, this is North Korea. And you know, I don't want to say all the cops are bad, but when they get in black uniforms and get in that mob psychology, they're all standing there playing the part of Darth Vader. And they put the really wicked guys up front who get off on this. And for him, it's like deer hunting. There's a scum American. We got to get his pension fund. I work for foreign banks, gang raping in the country. Of course, he's not thinking that, but that's what's really going on. Okay, so there's that report. My goodness, it just goes on and on, doesn't it? You know, I don't even know if I have time. Revealed how Obama was playing golf until 20 minutes before Navy SEALs began mission to take out bin Laden. They've got news stories out where they've got the Navy SEALs coming out claiming how the White House exaggerated what really happened, but then still supporting the underlying fairy tale. So all of that is happening. That's basically it for those reports. We're going to get into the libertarian mindset, the anti-collectivist mindset coming up here with two in-depth interviews here at INFOWARS Nightly News. We're going to look at the fact that people are daring to drink non-boiled, non-burned, pasteurized milk in public, something that is challenging the establishment. You'd think in America you could grow a garden or have your own cow, but no, the feds are saying it's a felony in some areas if you try to take it across state lines or other issues. So that is coming up. Please don't forget, you can watch the rest of the restreams of the Money Bomb at InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com, and it is your support and your subscription to PrisonPlanet.tv that makes this transmission possible. And with more on this nation descending into something out of a Kurt Vonnegut novel of a futuristic Orwellian police state is Adam Kokesh. He was a sergeant in the Marine Corps, and of course he was over in Iraq in civil affairs. I was just asking him right before we got him on the show today what he did in civil affairs, and he said, well, we were a fig leaf, and he'll give you the answer in a moment. But that's not the real reason I got him on. He went and did a great report with his show, Adam versus the Man, that continues on in cyberspace and on the radio, to go out and cover what's happening with the raw food raids and how the people are striking back. They are daring to transport raw milk across state lines and to drink it in public. And the big question is, what will Big Brother do? We've seen raids and arrests on lemonade stands. We're seeing the Amish raided and not allowed to ride their horses on the shoulder now. We're seeing the system come down with both feet against the public. I was out camping on our family property in East Texas this weekend, and now they have more game wardens out there than they've got cows. I mean, it is just like the Declaration of Independence. All these new offices sending forth swarms of agents to eat out our substance. So Adam Kokesh is going to be talking to us about that. But first, I want to bring up a few other things that are happening in our society. Adam, what was your awakening like? And why did you decide to leave the Marine Corps? And what did you do in Iraq?
Sure. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity to share my perspective with your audience, because when I was in Iraq, we really believed in the mission. I was there in 2004, civil affairs. We were the good guys. We were the nice ones, shaking hands, kissing babies, passing out money. And it's not that we weren't on the front lines. Often we were almost like more on the front lines than the infantry were. We go out on convoys with them and they'd say, all right, you guys can go talk to those Iraqis. We'll cover you from back here. Don't worry about it. And we'd go out and kind of get used for bait sometimes. But we really believed in our mission. And there are some things that I did in Iraq that I'm very proud of when I made an honest effort to help the Iraqi people, although I really do regret being a part of the effort as a whole. And I realized that in the greater context, my role as a sergeant on a civil affairs team was to be part of that fig leaf of Iraq, of creating this mythology for the American people of the idea that we were helping the Iraqi people. So when I came home and I got that perspective and I really started putting things into place, you know, that wasn't really what made me leave the Marines, because the process for me of waking up was kind of in phases, and I think you know, we do ourselves a disservice when we assume that people wake up with a single moment or with an epiphany. But there were a couple of big chunks for me that came like when I got home from Iraq, and I really expected there to be a reduction in the number of troops. And instead, we had the surge in Al-Anbar, and I saw the second Battle of Fallujah unfold after having been in the first Battle of Fallujah. And I was like, well, wait a second, something's not adding up here. And I started to really question our foreign policy at a deeper level, and I started to look for principles behind it. And I got out of the Marines only because really I was satisfied with my service in the sense that I'd had enough. One tour was enough, risking my life once. Actually trying to go back, I didn't go back again because I got in trouble for bringing a pistol back the first time, and seeing the hypocrisy in the way that the military organization handled that was very frustrating to me. And to be honest, getting in trouble and being a bit of a troublemaker in the Marines had me leave in a way that I was just disgruntled enough to really start questioning things. And I'm very grateful for that. I mean, I think it kind of speaks more to my personality as being a troublemaker, or having a certain disdain for arbitrary authority in the first place that got me in that situation. But I'm really grateful that it turned out that way, and that I was given the combination of statist military experience with an experience that caused me to really wake up to the true nature of government, the true nature of power in this world.
Sure. I mean, I tend to agree with you. Waking up, for myself and most other people, is a process, and it does tend to happen at different gateways, levels of understanding, and life is a process. We're always, hopefully, waking up more. In fact, people don't tend to sit in one spot, I've noticed historically. You're either on a trajectory to wake up and learn more and more, or a trajectory of kind of closing down and only buying into slogans. And propaganda targets people in the lowest common denominator, and the whole system is geared to make us lowest common denominator and to go with what's popular and what's easy and what's simple. And certainly I'm waking up and having epiphanies all the time and understanding. Now, on the subject of 9/11, then we'll get into milk and basic food freedom, which is so basic. Mm-hmm. I have seen you say with Luke Rudkowski when you had your show on RT, go, well, Luke, how was it when you were first covering 9/11? Now you've grown up and don't, really believe that anymore. And then Luke was kind of like, I'm paraphrasing, but I mean, well, correct me in a minute. The point is, I've seen you. You don't think 9/11 was an inside job, do you?
That's not really true. I don't have a firm belief one way or another. I really am agnostic on it. I think it's important to keep an open mind. I am firmly confident in my belief that what the government has told us is utter crap designed to cover something up. And what that really is, I'm not comfortable coming to any particular conclusions on. And I feel like I could if I had done the research that you have, and I absolutely respect the conclusions that you have come to. And I support people raising awareness. I support people sharing any alternative to the government story of what happened. I could assign from my own research, my own inclinations, what I think is likely to have happened, what is relatively likely to have happened. I don't think it's impossible that it was an inside job. I think that's one distinct possibility. I'm not going to publicly talk about how likely I think that is, what percentage of probability I would personally assign to that. I know for some people they've said that's the absolute conclusion, 100% it had to have been an inside job. I absolutely respect that. That's just how I feel about it. I don't think I think it's a great issue to bring people in. It's a great issue to wake people up and to get people questioning the government. That's why I support the 9/11 truth movement. I support people like Luke Rudkowski doing what they're doing. But even more so than that, I really support the perspective that guys like Luke Rudkowski have gained as a result of their questioning of 9/11, their understanding of government that they have gotten as a result of their questioning.
Sure, but listen, Adam, I wasn't trying to start a fracas, and I'll be honest. 4 or 5 months ago, I'm laying in a hotel room, and RT's on every hotel I've been in, and I'm sitting there watching it, and I just kind of saw you say, well, and then you kind of grew up. It was perhaps my memory's failing on it. Then I saw a few other statements, just kind of at a glance poo-pooing it. And again, I'm not calling you out. I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm heartened by what you've said. But I want to agree with you here on something. When I say it's an inside job, I'm saying the evidence of a cover-up and the official story being completely false end to end. I don't know exactly what happened, but I know one damn thing for sure. They're lying about what really happened. The official story is impossible, and they're using it to take my rights, and it's the foundation of the total overthrow of our republic, and that's what I'm pissed off about. And I believe one of the final levels of really awakening to just how serious things are, it's not a total awakening, but it's one of the deeper signs of it, is when you realize they staged Gulf of Tonkin. They're shooting black people up with syphilis. They're testing pesticides pesticides on foster kids, still doing it. Atomic soldiers, they know DU's deadly. They're shipped tens of thousands of guns into Mexico and drugs back in. When you realize we've got a criminal global mafia running the government at the highest levels, then even if anarchic capitalist ideas aren't completely feasible in this working system, it doesn't matter. It'd be better to be in anarchy than to have absolute psycho criminals running our society. Your response.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm ranting.
No, that's beautiful, Alex. That's beautiful. Absolutely. And that's why I have so much respect for the 9/11 Truth Movement, because it's gotten a lot of people to that point and understanding that nature of government, that it really is a disease in society. It is a leech. It is a cancer. And when you get those things, when you really get all of those things that you described, and you really understand that how government has been behind such tragedy, such suffering, such pain and misery for so many human beings on this planet in our history, that this paradigm of statism that's behind it is causing so much problem today. You get it here. You really wake up not just in an intellectual way, but you really wake up in a spiritual way and are compelled to share this message with the rest of society, compelled to be on the freedom movement's leading edge, bringing society into
you realize government and the state is the enemy.
Absolutely. Well, even deeper than that, our own willingness to be in denial of our own true nature that desires leaders. And this is really, a part of our evolution, Alex. And I try to, in a way, when I get worked up, I try to get zen and say, listen, like, let's put this in my self-affirming worldview and context that gives me a more positive outlook, because it's not just the error of the current ways of humanity, it's the broader evolution, and that we have gone from being pack animals. We evolved from pack animals. We evolved from tribalism, where whoever could pick up the biggest rock was in charge under the law of the jungle, to where we are today. And let's celebrate where we have come, and that the vast majority of human interactions are free of force and fraud and coercion. It's just isolated now to the government. We've come a long way as a species, and we as libertarians who want to reduce government further by saying, look, let's observe moral law in all of society, not just everything that's not government. Let's hold everyone accountable. Let's embrace morality to its full extent and respect each other's liberties. We are bringing humanity into the next phase of evolution. We are sharing something that is how humanity is going to realize its next level of potential. And you know what? When we get there, when we get to that point, when we overcome the paradigm of statism, and I see it as something happening over the next 20 to 100 years. Some people say sooner, some say a lot longer. But there will be the next challenge for our great grandchildren to overcome, and that's just part of the beautiful evolution